My name is Sarah and I'm 30 years old. Let me tell you about a crazy experience I had at a family gathering. It all started after I got married to my wonderful husband, Mike. We were deeply in love and I couldn't be happier. We had met through mutual friends and quickly realized we were meant to be together. The only hitch was that his family had this tradition of monthly family gatherings, and these events always made me a bit nervous. At GC, Mike's family was kind of a big deal in their town. His grandparents had owned a famous jewelry store and had amassed quite a fortune, so I always felt a bit out of my league when attending these gatherings. She was quite the character, to put it lightly. Pam was a woman with strong opinions and a flair for dramatics. From the very beginning, I sensed that she wasn't exactly thrilled about me marrying her son. Our first meeting was at their grand mansion, and she greeted me with a poker face that made me feel like an intruder. I wanted so badly to make a good impression, but Pam didn't make it easy. She barely said a word during the introduction and left me feeling a bit isolated. My father-in-law, David, was more friendly, but the awkward silence still hung heavy in the air. A few weeks later, we had our beautiful wedding, went on a honeymoon, and started our married life. Life was good, and I was happy, but it didn't take long for the monthly family gatherings to become a reality. Pam had made it clear that these get-togethers were a non-negotiable tradition in their family. I was curious about what these gatherings would be like, especially given Pam's cold demeanor. So when the first one came around, I decided to give it a shot. I hoped that maybe the rest of the family would be more welcoming. The day of the gathering arrived, and I was nervous as I approached their lavish home. Pam greeted me with a stern expression and wasted no time putting me to work in the kitchen. I donned an apron, and she immediately tasked me with preparing food for the guests. "You're on food duty for 20 today," she said, her eyes fixed on me. I was taken aback by the demand, but I didn't want to make a bad impression, so I got to work. I was a confident cook and had always received compliments on my dishes, so I thought I could handle it. However, I pushed through the critique, focusing on the task at hand. As the clock was ticking and guests were beginning to arrive, I was determined to prove myself to her and the rest of the family. Finally, after hours of hard work in the kitchen, the dishes were ready and I made my way to the living room to take a break. As I mingled with the family, I was pleasantly surprised by their warm reception. They enjoyed the food I had prepared and praised my cooking skills. Their compliments were heartwarming and I felt a sense of relief. It seemed like I was finally making a connection with Mike's family. But my moment of enjoyment was short-lived. Pam's cold gaze fell on me, and she remarked, "Why are you lazing around? You should be serving, not chatting." I tried to explain that I was only taking a short break, but she was having none of it. For the rest of the gathering, Pam kept me on a tight leash, assigning me various tasks and sidelining me from the family. I felt drained and overwhelmed, and the cleaning up after the party was entirely my responsibility. When I finished, she simply said, "Nice work. You can head out now," and ushered me out the door. I left the gathering feeling utterly drained and disheartened. What stunned me the most was the indifference of my husband. Mike, he had enjoyed himself at the party, oblivious to everything I had gone through. It made me feel alone and unsupported. The next day, Mike finally showed up and asked why I had left the gathering. I explained that his mother had sent me home and that I couldn't take her mistreatment anymore. But to my surprise, he didn't take my side. Instead, he accused me of lying and drinking too much, which left me dumbfounded. I never imagined that he would trust his mother so blindly and side with her, even after everything I had gone through. It was a heartbreaking moment, and I began to have serious doubts about our relationship. We'd only been married for about 3 months, and I felt like our love was being put to the test. But I decided to give it a chance, telling myself that I would endure this for at least a year for the sake of the people who had celebrated our wedding. I hoped that things would get better, and that my husband would come to realize the truth about his mother's behavior. Over the next few weeks, things seemed to calm down a bit. Mike had a way of bouncing back after arguments, so everyday life wasn't a constant battle. I kept hoping that things would improve, and I tried to focus on the love we shared. Then the date of the next family gathering at the in-laws' place loomed on the horizon. I prepared myself and made my way there, hoping that maybe this time would be different. But as soon as I arrived, Pam was there waiting for me. She wasted no time in putting me to work in the kitchen, as usual. This time, I inquired about the number of guests we could expect, and to my surprise, Pam mentioned that there would only be 7. It was a smaller gathering than usual, which initially seemed like a relief. But as I soon discovered, it brought its own set of challenges. Pam continued to criticize my every move, as if she were searching for faults that weren't there. With fewer guests to entertain, I had hoped that I could finally enjoy the gathering, but Pam's behavior made it difficult. Gathering and maybe even having some quality time with the family. However, it was the opposite. Pam kept a close eye on me, denying me any downtime and making the experience even more draining. My husband, Mike, was no help either. He was engrossed in the festivities, leaving me to fend for myself. It was as if he had learned nothing from the previous gatherings and was content to ignore the way his mother treated me. I felt isolated and invisible. After the party, Pam didn't hesitate to order me to handle the post-party cleanup. I was exhausted, but I had no choice but to comply. Mike and his dad were both too drunk to assist, so the entire cleaning task fell on my shoulders. Once I had finished cleaning, Pam told me it was time for me to leave. She made it clear that I wasn't considered part of the family and couldn't stay overnight. I was exhausted, and at that point, I was more than ready to leave. I hailed a cab, went home, and crashed, feeling completely drained and disheartened. The next day, Mick came home, clearly irritated. He asked me why I left the gathering, and I explained that his mother had sent me away. But instead of supporting me, he accused me of being selfish and bailing on the family. His words stung, and I couldn't believe that he was taking his mother's side once again. I realized that I couldn't endure another episode like this. It was becoming clear that Mike's loyalty to his mother was unwavering, and it was straining our relationship. I decided to take matters into my own hands and sought the help of an attorney to initiate the divorce process. Mike wasn't happy about it, but he eventually signed the divorce papers. Since that day, our marriage was officially over. I moved back in with my parents and focused on rebuilding my life and career. Thankfully, I had held on to my job after the wedding, and it provided me with a sense of stability. I've put my personal life on hold for now, but when I'm ready to dive back into the world of romance, I'll be much more cautious about who I choose to be a part of my life, especially when it comes to their family. It's been a challenging journey, but I'm determined to come out of it stronger and more resilient. In the aftermath of my divorce and the dramatic family gatherings, I decided to put my love life on hold for a while. Instead, I threw myself into my career. I'd always been ambitious and driven, and the emotional roller coaster of my marriage had only fueled my desire to succeed professionally. I found solace in my work, and it became a welcome distraction from the chaos I had experienced in my married life. I was determined to climb the corporate ladder and prove to myself that I could achieve anything I set my mind to. As I focused on my career, I also rekindled my relationships with my friends and family. They have been there for me during the difficult times. I realized how important their support was in my life. Just with their encouragement, I felt a renewed sense of strength and self-worth. Time passed, and I began to feel more like my old self. The wounds from my failed marriage started to heal, and I contemplated the possibility of dating again. However, I had learned some valuable lessons from my previous relationship, and I wasn't going to jump into anything without thoroughly vetting the person and their family. So I took my time getting to know potential partners. I made sure to have open and honest conversations about family dynamics and expectations, ensuring that I wouldn't find myself in a situation like the one I had endured with Mike's family. One day, while attending a work-related event, I met a man named Daniel. He was charming, kind, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me. As we spent time together, I was cautiously optimistic about the possibility of a new romance. Before things got too serious, I decided to have a frank conversation with Daniel about my past experiences. I told him about the tumultuous family gatherings, the strain it had put on my previous marriage, and how it had ultimately led to my divorce. I emphasized the importance of family dynamics and how they could impact a relationship. To my surprise, Daniel was understanding and supportive. He shared his own family background and assured me that he valued open communication and harmony in a relationship. As we continued to date, I met his family on a few occasions, and they indeed lived up to their reputations. They were warm, welcoming, and treated me with kindness and respect. I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief and gratitude for the new chapter in my life. With Daniel, I found a partner who prioritized a relationship and didn't let family dynamics overshadow our happiness. We shared common goals, dreams, and values, which made our connection even stronger. We took our time getting to know each other, and our love grew steadily. I felt like I had finally found someone who supported me, respected my boundaries, and valued our relationship above all else. The wounds from my past had not only healed but had also taught me valuable lessons about what I needed in a partner. As my relationship with Daniel grew stronger and more stable, my perspective on love and family continued to evolve. I had learned valuable lessons from my previous marriage and the challenging experiences with Mike's family, and I was determined not to repeat the same mistakes. One of the key takeaways from my past was the importance of setting clear boundaries and open communication. Daniel and I made a conscious effort to discuss our expectations, values, and what we wanted from our relationship. We both believed that our bond was the top priority and that while family was important, it shouldn't come at the expense of our happiness. With that in mind, we navigated various family gatherings and events, making sure to support each other when necessary. It wasn't always easy, but we had each other's backs. Daniel's family was a stark contrast to what I had experienced before. They welcomed me with open arms and were genuinely interested in getting to know me. It was a refreshing change from the frosty interactions I had faced in the past. For a time, I began to build a close relationship with Daniel's family, and they made me feel like a true part of the clan. It was heartwarming to see how a supportive and loving family could enhance our relationship rather than creating obstacles. My perspective on family gatherings had also shifted. I no longer feared them, but rather, I looked forward to spending time with people who cared about our happiness. As time passed, Daniel and I reached a significant milestone in our relationship when we decided to move in together. It was a big step, and we took our time planning and setting up our new home. We wanted a place where we could build a life together, create lasting memories, and support each other's ambitions. Living together was a true test of our compatibility, but it only strengthened our bond. We learned how to balance our individual lives and shared responsibilities. We faced challenges head-on, and instead of letting them divide us, we used them as opportunities to grow and learn. Our love continued to flourish, and we began discussing the possibility of marriage. It was an exciting and nerve-wracking topic, given my past experience with marriage, but with Daniel, I felt a sense of security and trust that I had never experienced before. He was my confidant, my partner in crime, and my biggest supporter. It was one beautiful evening during a romantic dinner at our favorite restaurant. Daniel surprised me with a proposal. It was a heartfelt and sincere moment, and I knew without a doubt that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. I said yes, and we embarked on a new journey together, planning our wedding with excitement and anticipation. Our wedding was a beautiful celebration of our love and commitment to each other. It was a day filled with joy, laughter, and the warmth of our loved ones. Two orphan families, now merged into one big loving unit, surrounded us with their support and blessings. As I stood there exchanging vows with the man I loved, I reflected on the incredible journey that had brought me to this moment. I had faced challenges, learned from my mistakes, and grown as an individual. I had found a love that was strong, supportive, and unwavering. Now, as I continue this story, I am happily married to the love of my life, Daniel. We face life's ups and downs together, secure in the knowledge that our relationship is built on a strong foundation of trust, love, and understanding. The early days of our marriage were filled with the excitement of starting this new chapter in our lives. We settled into our home, decorated it with our own personal touches, and created a space that truly felt like ours. Our shared responsibilities became second nature, and the routines of daily life continued to solidify the bond between us. We also began to explore our interests and hobbies as a couple, whether it was taking long hikes in the great outdoors, enjoying movie nights at home, or planning weekend getaways to new destinations. Every experience brought us closer. One of the most significant decisions we made was about starting a family. The topic of children had been a point of discussion from early on in our relationship. We both felt the desire to bring new life into the world and share our love and values with the next generation. With this in mind, we embarked on the beautiful journey of parenthood. The arrival of our first child, a daughter we named Emily, was a moment of pure joy and wonder. Holding her for the first time, I knew that our lives had changed forever. Daniel and I became parents, and it was a role we embraced with love and dedication. Raising a child brought new challenges and responsibilities, but we faced them together. Our families, now united and supportive, played a significant role in helping us as we navigated the joys and trials of parenthood. Emily was surrounded by the love and care of her grandparents, aunts, and uncles, which made our lives even richer. As the years passed, we welcomed more children into our family. Our son Matthew, followed by our youngest daughter, Olivia. Each new addition brought its own set of blessings and challenges, but our family continued to grow and thrive. Our shared love and devotion were the pillars that held us together through the sleepless nights, first steps, and laughter-filled moments. Our wedding anniversary marked not only the passing of another year, but also a celebration of our journey together. It was a testament to the love and strength that had guided us through life's twists and turns. Our relationship had evolved, our family had grown, and our love had deepened. With our children growing up, we found ourselves supporting them in their own adventures and endeavors. We encouraged them to pursue their passions, knowing that they too would face challenges and joys as they navigated the path of life. As parents, we took pride in seeing them grow into independent, compassionate individuals. Life continued to present its challenges, but we faced them with the same resilience and determination that had defined our relationship. We learned that love was not just about the romantic moments, but also about supporting each other during the difficult times. Together, we overcame obstacles and emerged even stronger. As I write this story, our journey is still unfolding. Our love, which began as a fragile spark, has grown into a steadfast flame that lights up our lives. We are family united by love and a shared commitment to building a life filled with happiness and meaning. Our story is a testament to the power of love, the importance of open communication, and the significance of a supportive family. We have learned that love can conquer any obstacle, that growth is a part of life, and that a strong partnership can weather any storm. As we look ahead, we are excited for the adventures and challenges that await us, knowing that our love will guide us through every step of the journey.